So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is a weekly success circle for solopreneurs. And we get together because we enjoy each other's company and we like exchanging ideas and information. And for those who happen to be new, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. I think I'm on maybe the 110th hangout. So it's been a while. So I love doing this because I find that giving and receiving support is really fits in with my business value system, I guess, is the way I would say it. My name is Lola Ann, and I've been in business since 1996, helping people where they want to go. So we do have some ground rules or some operating principles, which I like to remind us of. So we think that relationships before business is the way to go, and we know that you can get everything in life and business if you help enough other people get what they want in life and business. And we stand for positive possibilities, and we keep an open mind, and we never sell anything we're not prepared to deliver impeccably. So, as is our usual agenda, I like to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves. So please do so when I call on you. Say your name and where you're from, where you are, and what you do. Say something about the name of your business or what you do, and anything that you'd like to share in terms of good news, a discovery, a win, a learning, anything, as long as it's reasonably concise. So now, usually what I do is go in the order in which people came in, but that means Vivek has to go first every time. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Vivek? Do you want to go first this morning?
I'm fine, but
go ahead.
It's up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Namaste. My name is Vivek. VivekTechnology.com is my website. I believe in living a simple life. I believe in thinking different. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So if you have a project, software project, and you're struggling to integrate that with what you are doing in your life, maybe you have too many projects and you're struggling to find someone who can simplify it for you. So you can reach me through my Google Plus page, where you'll find other links, my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, all that. So I not only tell everyone else to integrate, I integrate it for my stuff as well. So
right on.
So that's about me. Yeah, I live in the United Kingdom. It's 5 minutes past 5 o'clock in the evening now. It's quite sunny today. Of course, sun and clouds. I had to just pull the curtains to prevent the neighbor's window shining the sun right into my eyes. So
that means the sun is starting to go down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you here, Vivek, as usual.
Thank you.
And I might encourage others. I've certainly discovered Vivek knows a lot about a lot of things online as a computer programmer. So welcome here. Now, I think, Nancy, you were the next one who came on. So how would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Nancy Gurish, and I have a YouTube channel. That's my main way of communicating with the world. But I have a website magazine. It's called Your Health and Tech Friend. I started that in 2010, and I've been learning how to code and build the site myself. I started out with a content management system, and then I started to build my own so that I could own everything. And I'm up to 4 YouTube channels, and I believe in growing spiritually, emotionally, physically, staying healthy through natural means, and avoiding. I looked for ways to avoid getting illness and to reversing illness if I can through natural means, in spite of the way I eat, because I don't have a long habit of eating healthy. So it's a challenge, and I'm glad to meet you, and I'm looking forward to growing my business.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Say a little bit more about your 4 YouTube channels, Nancy.
Okay, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and today it's about 80 degrees outside. Our weather goes in extremes all year round. But my YouTube channels my main channel is under my name, Nancy Gurish, and my second channel was my Spiritual Walkway. It's called Spiritual Walkway, and it was intended for to share ways that I've grown spiritually and ways that it's helped me in my life, which has helped me. That's the foundation of where I am today, is because of prayer, my prayer life, and fellowship among people who do the same thing. And my second YouTube channel was named after my magazine, Your Health and Tech Friend, and that's because I was sharing a lot of videos on how to make videos and difficulties I've had a lot of audio problems with my videos, and about website building, because I started to learn about that, and then also about growing a business. And so I've been doing that because I'm new to that. I've always worked for other people. And then my 4th YouTube channel is called Behind the Scenes, and it is the workings and the makings of my YouTube videos. That's one example. I have a weekly joke video that I do called Fun Friday on my main channel, and I keep maybe sometimes in my little phone. I call it my vlog phone. It's my daughter's old phone, and I might video myself from the side and then publish that video as a behind the scenes. And it's also that one. I've termed my viewers Buttercup. I call them Buttercups, and I feel like I can let my hair down on that channel, and I talk very straight up about the products I use. Some of them are controversial. Colloidal silver, ways to treat skin cancer topically with something called Cansema Black Salve, and so they're controversial, and so I'm more open and honest about the things I do on my behind the scenes channel. And I found out that if you're trying to grow subscribers and make money, opening other YouTube channels makes it more challenging. So it's been a juggle, but I'm up to near 3,500 subscribers at my main channel, and between 15 to 20 on my other 3 channels, and it's fun. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like you're very busy. I mean, to manage 4 YouTube channels, God, I have a hard time just keeping up with my one. Oh, so it's very nice to have you join us, Nancy. Sounds like you're well along the way of creating your business. Right on. Now, I think, Alana, I think you were next.
Okay, I just turned my mic on. Hopefully everything will go okay. Before I continue, I'm not sure how long my laptop's going to last, because I'm on the laptop that does not have a lot of RAM, and my daughter's laptop, she's using it. So if I suddenly drop off, then that's unfortunate. Anyway, my name is Alana Birmingham. I'm living in Ireland for the last 19 plus years. My website is Online Income and Resources, and I've been building that for the last I'd say a little over 2 years now. And my goal is to make money online so I can support myself without answering to anyone but myself. So it's a work in progress, and I'm trying to maintain some semblance of structure and a schedule, but it's that I find to be a big challenge as well. And Vivek, as for the weather, in Ireland, we can get all the seasons in one day.
Wow.
So right now, it seems like we're getting into fall already here, which is unfortunate, but there's definitely a crispness out there in the air today. So.
Aha.
And I want to thank you, Lowell Ann, for including me in your weekly chats here. I've enjoyed them very much. And I've been a member of Wealthy Affiliate for the past couple of years, and I've learned everything I know about online marketing from that particular website. And I just find everybody there fantastic. So, yeah, it's been great getting involved with that community as well.
Mm-hmm. So just to be, for us all to be sort of wide open, Alana and Craig and I, all three of us are members of Wealthy Affiliates. So it's an online community. It's a paid community, but there are hundreds of videos to teach you how to do just about anything you want to do online. So I think, Paul, you were the next person who came on. How would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Paul, and it's Paul with 2 L's just to make everybody's life more difficult. And I live on the left coast of Canada on a wonderful island called Vancouver Island. And I have the pleasure of living about 3 blocks maybe from Lowell Ann. My mission in life recently has been to stamp out sales breath, get people to quit selling and start engaging their customers. And that's what I got to say today. So over to you.
Right on. As usual, nice to have you here. For everybody else's benefit, I would count Paul as one of my special mentors. Oh, there's Heidi. Welcome, Heidi.
Hello, I just stopped by. I cannot stay the whole time, but just coming in.
That's fine. We're in the midst of intros right now. So Craig, I think you were next.
Well, I guess since I can't get the other guy to talk, I'll talk. I don't know why Google hasn't booted my my other icon, but I'm also a Wealthy Affiliate member. As a matter of fact, I just celebrated my 6th anniversary there. So I was I did my 6-year anniversary post, but my business is called Who Marketing, and what I do is I help small businesses and brick and mortars with their online presence, and the whole intent of that is to without creating sales breath, get people in the door, and let our customers know what it is that they can do for their customers. So that's my main focus. I also do quite a bit of affiliate marketing, and I have extensive training on Wealthy Affiliate on basic WordPress stuff. I work exclusively in WordPress, and but basically I help businesses with their online presence, and that's my forte. So.
And you are where?
Oh well, I'm not quite on the East Coast, but I'm in the Eastern Time Zone in the U.S. I'm in Western New York, which is up by Lake Ontario. So I'm not anywhere near the city. It's 5 hours away from me. And yeah, we have we're in what's called the Finger Lakes region. There are a lot of basically, when the glaciers receded, they scraped out these long, thin lakes, and so they call them the Finger Lakes. Well, there are 5 main ones, but there's a whole bunch of other little ones. So we live in lake country.
Yes, lake country. And I might also add, since you've been on Wealthy Affiliate for 6 years, I would guess that most of what you do is teach and support other people who are new coming in.
I do that, yes.
Yes, and
yes. I try to provide direction to keep them going in the correct direction. There's there's a variety of skill levels, and there are a lot of people on there that try to help but really don't have quite the skills to help. So I try and be the voice of reason at times.
Right. So I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Right on. And so Heidi, last but not least, how would you like to introduce yourself?
I would like today introduce myself as a new student of the Wealthy Affiliate University, and I'm really, what before was for me Google Plus, has become now that, to engage with the people and to learn. Unfortunately, the Google Plus, I have the idea that it is sort of a little bit dissipated, the communities there, but anyway. And yeah, I want to be able to work from home and to get some money for that, because it's about 3 or 4 years that I work from home, and I work a lot at home, but I didn't get any money. So now with the affiliates, I really hope to find the way to make it work out in some way.
I think we're all solopreneurs for the same reason, I think, Heidi. You're in good company.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and there's Jay, just in time to introduce yourself, Jay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello. Hey, my name is Jay, and I am hailing in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Hope you guys are doing well. My company is Magi Studios, and I help people get started in the world of online marketing. And I've been doing it only for 11 years.
Only.
Sorry I'm late, but Craig took way too long in the makeup trailer, so I had to wait till he was done. As you can see, he's so beautiful, he's in here twice. So.
The makeup trailer.
Hogged all the Perrier, too. So.
Your background looks a little different this morning.
Well, I'm currently vacationing in north of France. No, I'm kidding. This is my house. So. I'm at home today.
You're at home today. Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And finally, and do you have any announcements or any good news things that you want to share?
Well, I've got some beta. I've got a SEO, couple new courses that I've released, or at least are completed. I have a couple beta testers. I've got them doing some feedback for me. Really excited about it. It's $99 SEO course, $99 local SEO course, $99 social media course, $99 Google Analytics course, and kind of goes on and on and on. And it seems like the $99 price point seems to work quite well. So timing is everything with product launches. So we're going to be launching that in September.
All right on.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sure all of us will be watching for the announcements on them. So that's just great.
I'll be offering free sets of steak knives to the first 10 people.
Oh dear. So I might just say a little bit about what I do. My business is Workstyle Lifestyle Consulting. I do career and business coaching for solopreneurs. I do all of my work. I have been doing all of my work online for years. So I did start out my coaching work over the telephone, but in recent years I've moved over to using a Hangout or Skype, which depending on the comfort level of the client. A couple of things that I wanted to mention. I discovered and have read all about and watched a few videos about Instagram stories. And I did my first Instagram story last night just for the fun of it. So, and it's kind of interesting. You have to do it with your cell phone, and you go in there and you have to hold your finger on the record button while you record. And I think you're only allowed something like 10 seconds or whatever. It's really, there seem to be so many options for online video right now. So that was a piece of online fun for me last night. The other thing that I might mention is that I just last week I was approached by Shaw, which is the provider, the online provider here, to upgrade my bandwidth, and it seems to be working really, really well. So, and they offered it for $20 less than I was paying before. They must be getting desperate. So, anyway, that's what's going on for me this week. So we were going to talk today about applying images. And before I forget, some of you have already noticed, but I posted within the Being Your Own CEO community something that I found on Pinterest, actually, which is sort of a checklist or a list of all of the dimensions that you need to know if you're applying images to various social media platforms. I found that it's really convenient to have all those dimensions in one place. So that was something I found yesterday, I think it was, when I was thinking about what we were going to be talking about this morning. So we were going to talk. We have talked the last couple of weeks around images and the things that we need to know about them and where to find them. There are lots of options out there, and Sue Joy Schlief, who texted me this morning and said she is unable to join us due to some technical problems, but she has also shared with us some of the terminology that we need to understand about using images that we find online, etc. So we've been wallowing around in the image topic for a while now. So I guess the question that arose for me is exactly what do we need to pay attention to when we are uploading images to, let's say, our website, and as well as our platforms. And when I say online images, when I say website, I also mean our blog postings and so forth. So what are some of the things that we all need to pay attention to? Over and above whether we're allowed to use them or not. We've already covered that topic, I think, adequately. So
well, I think image file size is one. Be aware of that. Image dimensions, meaning how large is the pixel width and the pixel height. And placement within the content of the website. So I think those three are really important. Two of those for well, one of those for speed, because if you upload an image that's fairly large in file size, so let's say it was you uploaded an image that was a 1 meg large, okay? And what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like eight or 9 people here. So that means if we all went to that web page that had that blog post that had that 1 meg image, that image needs to load, 9 times or 8 times. So imagine, and that's just throughout the whole day, right? So imagine, 100 people come every hour. So that's going to affect the page speed of a website or a blog. So you want to be aware of that, and you want to make sure that images are optimized for speed. You don't want them too large. The second one is the dimensions, so the actual size. So if your blog post has a widget bar on the side, on the right or the left, or 2, if you have a fairly wide image, that's going to make the content wrapped around it even more smaller, right? So it's going to be very difficult to read. So you want to be aware of the environment that you're placing the image. So, one might recommend that to maybe have more of a tall image versus an actual wide image if you plan to justify the content around it. And the last one is placement. So placement basically means where you are strategically placing that image within the post. So there's a variety of ways of doing this. You can have it kind of consume the entire width of the post. You can have it justified to the left or the justified to the right. Now, I've always been a fan of having images justified to the right side versus the left side because it creates better readability within the content. You are not interrupting the reader's reading pattern because we're used to going all the way across and then zipping our eyes right to the left. When there's an image on the left, when you read all the way down, it goes boom, it interrupts it. And it actually then the reader doesn't absorb the content as well. So when you have, I think all images that are what's called above the fold should be on the right-hand side. Above the fold.
What about putting, I've often put them in the center, especially if it's between sections or...
Absolutely. I think it's totally fine. I do that as well. I just make sure, especially if it's a screenshot when you're trying to get a point across, actually within the image. So I think when you're if you're going to do something right in the center, just have it all the way across the width so that it doesn't look bare on the left or the right because it kind of looks goofy that way. Also from an SEO, from a search engine optimization, from a technical perspective, you have to think that when Google comes by and reads that post, their little reading spiders come and read it, when they see that image first and then they don't really see content yet, for the lack of a better term, the spiders get bored really quickly. So if they don't see content right away, they'll kind of go, eh. No.
Yeah, because the spiders don't read what's inside an image, do they?
They can only read the file name, the alt tag, and the title tag, assuming that you have it.
I have to disagree there.
Okay, go ahead.
I have been, okay, here's why I disagree. I have been taking lots of pictures using my mobile phone, and they all get backed up to Google Photos. And then I can see, obviously Google, when I upload it to Google Drive, it goes through Google algorithms and so on. The point is, the other day I found an album which was created by Google, and it's titled Cars. Another one titled Boats. How did it find that? Because I have been taking pictures of a river and there are lots of boats. I can't avoid the boats. I take the picture. Lots of pictures of boats. and Google is able to identify what the object in the picture as a boat. So be aware of the fact that Google can find out what's in the picture. They are modifying, they are improving the logic by which they do it, but as it is now, they are able to identify what's in the picture. So
I think those are two completely different situations.
Yeah.
One being Google Photos, and then one having their bots reading images within a photo.
And what does the Google bot do?
It reads the content associated to the image and the alt tag and the title tag, so then it could distinguish what exactly that photo is. Does it represent and does it associate the content?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also depends on.
I've noticed that within the photos that you know, you end up taking within a photo program. But yeah, that's interesting. So I'm seeing all kinds of little text notes going by here, so we'll get to them. But Jay and or Vivek, what about how? I mean, if you find a picture size and it looks like it's you know, it's going to be too large a file, how does one reduce the file size of a picture?
The old way used to be modify the code in the website to show only a smaller image, but that has a severe drawback. The file is big and your browser has to download the entire file, but to you, when it shows you the image, it shows a compressed image. So it used to work earlier when there were not many people uploading huge images, but now if you do that, Google is going to penalize you, in the sense it's going to say you have used huge images, and so your page speed, Google uses an algorithm to figure out your page load speed, and that looks at each image and resources that are there within that page and see how fast it can load. So that page load speed is a factor in your Google ranking.
And that's useful to know. But I still don't know. I mean, if I see the size of the image is large and I want to use that image, how do I reduce the size?
You need to use a graphic package,
like
and
Photoshop.
Photoshop, GIMP, and we have a Pixlr or whatever. We have discussed this in the last couple of weeks. So you need to use some one or more of them and actually reduce the size of the image itself. That has two effects. One is the file size itself reduces, and when that happens, Google, when the page speed algorithm goes through your page, it sees that, okay, you are showing an image of certain size, and the image actually is also of the same size. Then it says, okay, that's good, and it gives you higher marks for page optimization. So I think that also answers a question Heidi was asking a bit earlier. She was asking, how do you optimize an image? So the image should be, when you look at the image using a graphic image manipulation program, it should say the size of the image should be same as what you want it to show up on your website.
Right. So I'm noticing here Craig has posted a link. I wish it were in the on the event page so we could bring it up on screen.
Do you wish that? It shall be done.
Oh, good. So that yeah, that I can't bring comments from the inside group chat up on the screen to share with everyone. So yeah, so we need to if we want to change the file size and the dimension. Now, I've never really fully understood the relationship between file size and dimensions. I for a long time just thought if I just change the dimensions that it saves the size of the file, but I'm gathering that that's not so.
Not if you resize it. Now, so a couple of things. Let's distinguish the difference between a file size and a dimension size.
Yeah.
Okay. So file size is the actual file size that exists on the computer. Okay. So typical images, are like half a meg or a meg large, right? When it comes out of a camera or something. So that's file size. That's the file size. That's the digital size of the file. Now, dimensions is the amount of pixels it would take on a screen horizontally and vertically. So when an image is, say, 600 by 800, that means it's 600 pixels wide by 800 pixels high, right? 5 by 4 might be, more rudimentary term. So, and to reduce a file size, you're not actually taking the dimensions down. All you're doing is you're actually taking colors, essentially colors, out of the photo. Okay, so if a file size, if it has a high file size, it really just means that there's so many little differentiations of color, right? So if you're taking a picture of a tree, there's going to be like hundreds of thousands of different variants of green, so it kind of captures that image more crisp, more clear. Now, from a printing perspective, that's what you want. But on a web perspective, it's not as much of a big deal because screens can only show so many amounts of pictures. Or sorry, so many amounts of colors. So by reducing the file size, thus taking some of those variants of green for a tree picture, you are then reducing the file size and then also just, which you can't really see to the human eye in most cases, unable to see the variants of greens and whatnot that are being kind of taken out. It's more merging the colors. So it uses less of a color palette.
So, and that's kind of the difference also between a JPEG and, say, a PNG.
Yes, a JPEG uses pixely dots. A PNG will use vector mathematical equations in most cases, right? Rule of thumb is to use, when you have a picture that has people or things, physical things in it, of the real world, use a JPEG. When you have graphics like logos or text only in an image, then you can use what's a PNG because it can mathematically scale up and down to larger and smaller sizes.
Oh, okay.
But there are exceptions to that rule. So, for example, like we've got a screenshot of Craig there without any background. So that was, that's initially, or was probably a PNG at one point because he wanted to take the background out. So the restrictions with a JPEG is that it cannot be a transparent image, meaning JPEGs have to have some sort of background. PNGs can be transparent where there's no background, so you could stick it in a red background, a green background, whatever color background that you want. As you can see, if you look at Craig's film strip picture, he has a black background, and then if you look at Craig's screenshot here, it is a white background, and that is the classic reason why to use a PNG. But you want to be using PNGs sparingly, because when you have PNGs that are actually pictures of real people, the file size gets larger.
Okay. So here is where you can find a discussion that on image size that Craig has shared, and he shared something else here on a tutorial on images that he has done as well. So I put these up on the screen so that that becomes part of the video.
We should probably tell people that they have to go over to the event page to get the full link, because you can't see the full link there.
Oh, okay, that's right. So thank you. I hadn't noticed that. So what we're doing, what these are entries on the Google Plus event page that goes along with this Hangout.
So
thank you.
Yeah. Can I just, Heidi's asking a couple questions I feel are important to quickly answer here, and it's regarding images in WordPress. So Heidi was asking, if you upload an image and you reduce the dimensions, one of the nice things about WordPress is that it has its own little mini image editor, if you will, okay, in terms of changing the file size structure. So when you upload an image and you want to place it inside a post or a page, you have the option of having it show the full dimensions of what you uploaded, and then it'll have different versions, different size versions. Those size versions are actual compressed versions of the original image. So it's essentially taking a copy of your original image that you upload and taking a copy of it and reducing it down to a smaller file size and a smaller dimension.
That's useful to know. That's good. Right on.
Yeah.
That's because so we reduce the work, because otherwise going to GIMP and doing with every photo you get mad.
Yeah.
But that still has the penalty of page load speed.
In what sense?
Not if they use the optimize. If I upload an image that's 1024 by 768, and then I choose to use the 100 by 100 version that WordPress creates for me, it's an optimized version of that original one.
So what do you think? Which dimension should we reduce it? I always reduced it to 500. Somebody said to me 500, and then the other measure comes by itself. Is it still too big?
So what Jay is saying is use the editor within WordPress.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Use the size and save it on the website, and use the saved version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't use the original one.
Yes, I know, but how small
to
can I
see?
reduce it then? That's what I
Would you like
wanted
to see
to know.
me do this? Would that help, Heidi?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I said, would you like to
Go ahead.
see me
Go
do?
ahead,
Oh,
Jay. I think
okay,
it's a good
give me
idea.
1 minute to load up a WordPress site. Just
Yeah.
spin the wheel and choose which one I'm going to use.
No, I noticed that there is an editor and you can turn them around and all sorts of things. I normally use it only for using the size, but the size, I wanted to know which is the right size to put in. That was the main question.
Right size depends on the target device you are aiming for. So that's another question. These days people watch your website on a mobile phone. So when it comes to mobile phone, it makes it more complicated in the sense, okay, you have an image. Will it look good on a mobile phone? Maybe, maybe not. So
How can I know that?
you'll have to try. You'll have to go to your website on your mobile phone. That's the easiest way.
Oh gosh.
That is a really, really important thing. I was looking at somebody's website yesterday, and it came into my, and I was doing it from my phone. It came into my phone so small, and then you end up having to expand and do all sorts of things. So yeah, so that's another piece that we we maybe need to explore at some point, is optimizing for mobile. Yeah. So I'm glad you're here, Tennyson. Good
Hi.
to see you. I'm glad you put your notes in there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known you're there.
Well, it worked out well because I got a phone call right after y'all started anyway, so I was on the phone for 20 minutes.
Yeah. While Jay is doing that, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone? Say where you are and what you do.
Sure.
Very quickly.
I'm Tennyson. I live in Oklahoma, so Heartland, and I'm just a newbie right now. I'm learning from everyone here.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I'm ready when you are here.
Okay.
I'll,
Go for it.
Okay, so all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload an image, and I'm going to use the proprietary image editor inside WordPress. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this post. So as you can see, it's just your standard "Hello World" post. So I'm going to go ahead and press the edit button. So now there's two ways to upload an image. I can go to Media and Add New, or I can use this Add Media button. So I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to place my mouse or the cursor where I want that image to show up. So I want it to be on the right side of this. So we'll put it there. So I'm going to click on Add Media. So now here's where I add my file. So I'm going to go ahead and add a file. This is a fairly large file. It is 1024 by 683. So now if I were to add this original file, it would just be massive. So it says, all right, size. So what I want to do is I'm going to use the medium one, 300 by 200. And am I going to link it? I'm not going to link it to anything. So there we go. So I'm going to go Insert into Post. There we go. So now I'm going to justify it to the right, update the post. Let's take a look at it. And there you go. There's the image. Now, if I go Open Image in New Tab, so there's it links to the original image, okay? But this is a compressed version, all right? So there you go. Now,
thank you, because
yeah, you're welcome.
I almost did it on the top when they're saying edit image on top. I never noticed it down there. You can do it so easily. Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of help.
There you go. Yeah, so it's pretty easy image. I mean, I really do recommend that you customize your images a little bit, but you know, for the sake of time, you know, I think it's fine, especially if it's just like that image that I took there, you know, someone of the waterfront and whatnot. So, you know, an image like that in its raw form is going to be like a 10 meg image. So that is one of the good things that WordPress has, is the ability to optimize it. So.
Do we have a question from somebody in our audience? Sandy says, when downloading an image from Pixabay, is it better to download small, medium, large, or original if uploading to a website?
Well, I personally think it depends on the image, the image dimension on Pixabay. Personally, I would download the raw file, and then I would open it up in an image editor and optimize it, maybe add my logo to it, brand it, and then upload it. But you know, so So it's either Pixabay optimizes it for you or WordPress optimizes it for you, right? So I mean, it really doesn't matter, you know. I make it a habit to download the large files because I may want different sizes of the same image, and that's what I have on file. But for the sake of time, you can download one of the smaller versions, you know, if you don't want to go in and optimize it or add additional branding to it or whatnot. So.
Well, isn't there, Jay, isn't there that concept about it's a lot easier to reduce the size of an image than it is to expand the size of an image?
Yes.
So better to begin with the large one, because if you try to expand the size, then it becomes pixely, etc. So
correct. Yeah.
you begin with the large one. You've got more flexibility.
Yeah, very similar when it comes to taking pictures with your camera phone. It's a lot better to pan out and take everything and then zoom in and crop in post-production versus zooming in while you're taking the photo.
So I see there's Vivek has shared a site here. Use this tool to find out what Google sees your page as in terms of page load. So there is where to look into that. So thank you, Vivek, for that. There's a few other things that I think, Craig, I saw in the little text pop up there that we probably need to talk about in terms of what else we need to make sure that we do on the website for images. You want to say something about that, Craig?
Well, Jay already mentioned the difference between PNG files and JPEGs. Those are, you know, the PNG file, if everything's the same, a PNG file is going to be larger than the actual JPEG image. But the JPEG image will also have a solid background versus transparent. So if you need a transparent image, then you're going to have to go with PNG and take the file size hit. You're talking about what other things are you talking about?
The alt tag and etc.
Well, usually when you put an image into your site, there is an alt tag, and with Jay's image, basically, when he put in that image, you'll notice that he clicked on it and it came up with a little toolbar right above the image. One of those is a pen icon, or a little pencil. If you click on that, it gives you a place to put in your title for your image, and it gives you a place to put in the alt tag. And the alt tag is read by Google as this is what the image is all about. So when Google or one of the other search engines crawls your page, it says, okay, here's an image, and in Vivek's case, it's a boat. So that's where you put in the title. You can even optimize it a little further by adding your keyword to the title or the alt tag, so that Google says, "Oh, that's what this page is about." Not necessarily just this image, but the page. This image shows up on this page, so it helps with your ranking factors. So that's.
Make it different than the title.
I'm sorry?
Alt tag is something different. It's not the title.
The title, if you hover over the image,
Uh-huh.
when you're viewing the page, if you hover over the image, and you have a title tag in there,
Yeah.
the title is going to pop up in a little small thing that says, this is what the image is.
Yeah.
The alt tag is behind the scenes, and the only thing that sees that is a screen reader. If you're a blind person and you have you have a reader, then it's going to take your alt tag and tell the blind person that this is what the image is about when it reads the image.
Okay, but I don't have to put anything in extra, only the title.
Typically, you'll want to put something in the title tag and in the alt tag, I guess.
I have to find it out. I don't understand that yet.
Okay.
Does somebody
title
want to? Jay, do you still have that up? Could you open that up and show it to Heidi?
Yep. Give me a second
And
here.
in the meantime, just for interest sake, I'm going to share. This is This is something that came through from YouTube. So somebody's watching from afar.
So apparently he wants to know if you do read his comments.
Yeah. So.
Okay. There we go. Am I? Okay. Okay. So here. So I'll go ahead and press the edit button again. I'm just writing, this is the title. Sorry. What is the... And then this is the alt title advanced feature here, as you can see when you edit an image. This is the title. And if I go update, excuse me, and if I go view posts, and then we'll look at the code. So I don't think I can make that any bigger for you, but inside there it says title equals this is the title, and then alt is right there. It says this is the alt. Okay, so title is to give the image a title. Alt describes the image. Okay, and the purpose of an alt title and an alt tag, sorry, the purpose of a title tag and an alt tag is for people who are visually impaired that have text-to-speech. So that text-to-speech can read that. It says, you know, oh, this is the title of the image. This is the alt of the image.
The people,
so it does that. That's what the prime use of it is. Pardon me?
The people don't see it on the website. I thought the call caption, this is what I thought is the title, because I put this as a title on the picture.
Okay, caption is another one, is a separate one altogether, which I can show. And a caption will end up showing on the page.
On the picture.
Yeah. So, you know, and it usually depends on your theme. It shows, you know, right below it. This is the caption.
So when would you decide that putting a caption is important?
I think screenshots are when you want to use the caption, especially if you're describing what's going on with a particular screenshot. So there, as you can see now it says this is the caption.
Can you hover over the image, Jay, so that they can see the title pop up?
I'm wondering, would you always put this title in and this alt tags?
I try to, as often as my memory will allow me, as a you know, kind of a rule of thumb, because there's not only benefits to your readers who may be visually impaired, but there's also some great benefits to it from an SEO, from a search engine marketing and a search engine optimization perspective. It helps the search engines understand what the image is about beyond Vivek's boats.
Okay, and the last question for clarification, the alt tags doesn't mean a tag like a keyword. It means an explanation.
That is correct. The reason why I called it, I said that it's to benefit the reader, whether they're hearing impaired or visually impaired or not, is because I don't want people to get in their minds to make sure that there's a keyword in there that you're trying to rank for, because it has such little value to a reader's perspective and from an SEO perspective. Think of it as you're doing it as a service to people who may not be able to visually see that image. Now, if it happens to have a keyword by chance, great. You know, it only will help Google understand what that page is about and the images that you have associated to it.
So I was thinking that one of the main uses for caption might be if you're using an image that requires some kind of a citation, like whose
Yes.
image is it, whose image it is, or whatever. That would be when you would use that caption.
Yeah, I think that's a fine idea if you're using images that require, you know, some sort of licensing option where you have to give credit to an author or the photographer. Attribution.
Yeah, attribution, not citation.
Yeah.
So Nancy, I saw you posted something in the comment stream. I can't keep both open. I can only keep if I'm doing the comment tracker, I can only keep track of what is being posted on the event page. So if you're posting a link that you want to share, if you could put it in the on the event page, and that way it can be shared with the other viewers who are not within the conversation. But you were sharing something. I don't know if there's something you want to say about that.
At minimum, I use the alt text and a title, but I've used schema.org, and Google AdSense has sort of indicated to me a negative because I didn't have schema markup on my website. So that's when I was forced to look into it, and I just noticed at that link, it's called schema.org. They use the .org in the title. It's an organization created for SEO best practices, it says. But what I like about the schema markup, it's extra text that, like the alt text, that you put in that actually shows on the page. And in that, I can claim ownership because it'll say the author. You can use. It's like a library catalog. It looks like, so it has a place you can put. You have to look. They have like guidelines for what the schema markup is for like artwork or for videos or for different categories. So it can categorize your photo, and you can claim ownership. You can put the year it was taken, the date it was taken, where it was taken. And I think it says it's good for people who are impaired, who don't have sight, and they can read the specifics about the page. And I think if you want it, when I get more advanced, it kind of gives me more professionalism for that. And I like that it kind of claims my own images as mine, because other people will take our work and use it, and your photo is going to be used here, there, and the other place. And because they spider and robot the whole internet, your image can be tagged to you if they ever want to find out the original and true owner of the art of the image.
The work.
And that's why I use it. And Google AdSense gives your Webmaster Tools, they give you credit if you have this done. You know. So I thought I'd share that. But on the whole, I don't use that. You can copy and paste it so it makes it easier to use. But at minimum, I use the alt text and the title, definitely, or you get sort of penalized by Google for not having that at minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's awesome that you brought up schema, because it is the new, we'll call it the new way to deal with alt tags and whatnot. It's more of it's it can be quite advanced, you know, if you get heavily immersed with schema. There's actually a really good, and I'll let Craig kind of post it in the Hangout or in the chat to show you the
on the event page.
On the event page, but here it is. It's called JSON LD Generator, and it creates schema. So, you know, I can say, okay, well, if it's a website, a person, a local business, an organization, a product, and then I just start filling in this stuff, and then at the bottom, the generator will give me the code to put in that particular page. Here's another one. This is actually one that I like to use for local businesses, and it kind of creates the schema. You can add URLs, logos, etc., right? And then it you know dynamically creates the code here on the right-hand side.
And then you would put that code in the within the HTML text on the page?
That is correct. Yeah. I prefer, there's two ways of doing it. There's called JSON LD, and then there's microdata. I prefer to use the first one because the second one, the second one you have to put the code in different places throughout the site or throughout the page, whereas the JSON you can just stick it in one chunk right at the top or the bottom. It actually doesn't matter where you put it.
Ah, so there's a piece that so that would be almost like putting a copyright on something.
Yeah, it essentially gives attribution to your own property.
So would you, I mean, we're talking about images right now, but I mean, in terms of our website, would you put a code like that on every page?
Well, not specifically for just an image. And I think it really does depend on the post type. If you're writing a lot of news post types, then I think it could propagate to use that often. Or if you're doing reviews of particular products, if it's a local business, there's many variants of schema to be used. You know, there's schema to be placed on every page. So, for example, local businesses, and then there's schema to use on individual pages, such as product reviews. Okay. So, you know, it does depend on the situation and the type of schema that you're putting in.
And for those who are watching outside here, there is a code there, but I see the length of it has been truncated again. So you'll have to go to the on the event page to see the full code.
The part that's missing is the word generator.
Right.
Spelt the American way.
And what do we do? It looks there's two postings there from Craig.
Yeah, they do the same thing. He's probably showing the one that the first one that I showed. That's the link that he showed. The second one is the one that I like to use, which is based on that first one that he showed.
Oh, I see.
No, actually, I typed it in the first time, and it sent me to someplace else. So then I actually navigated to it and copied.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So my goodness, when we begin to delve into something as simple as images, we find out it ain't so
Get into
simple.
schema.
Yeah, we get into schema. Nice going, Nancy.
So I'm looking at our clock here, and we've gone way over again. So,
I pasted Nancy's comment on to the event page. So.
Oh, thank you very much, Vivek. I appreciate that. So, yeah, that's good. So, yeah, this is it's very hard to stay. You can't stay on top of both comment streams. You get one or the other.
Did y'all already talk about compression since I came in late?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just watch.
They gave away the secret before you came in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. So I think it's time for us to begin to think about wrapping up. Before I do that, does anybody have any parting shot or any summarizing statement or some parting question?
I have one. Of course, we have had a lengthy discussion about alt tags, but all I would just add to that is that's what appears on your mobile phone if you have a slow data connection. So when you look at a web page and if there is an image, the alt tag appears on the screen first. So,
Oh. Well, that's useful to know, and I mean, I'm thinking that becoming a mobile friendly, etc. There's another whole conversation that we could all have at another time.
I can add something to the alt text if I could, real short. I read that you can put as much text into the alt as you want to, and the more that you put in, the better, they said. So one example is I have a picture of a pine tree next to a church, and I think the more descriptive it is, the better it is, especially for visually impaired, because they can translate it into reading it through whatever. But I put like a pine tree next to church with brick church with windows. You know, it might be on a sunny day or daytime, and I can put even the name of the church and the location of the church, and you can get really, really long on an alt text instead of, I've seen on better websites than mine, better than mine, that they have really long, like like a couple paragraphs.
Really?
Yeah, and that can contribute to your SEO, to grabbing the keywords.
So, but what impact would that have on load speed?
I think it's easier than an image load speed. Like text wouldn't slow down load speed, but the image will. And like was said, if the image doesn't load, the alt text does, and it can be really descriptive is nice, you know. I got a picture of downtown Cleveland when a storm was coming in, and it was a big traffic light is in the foreground. So if you can put really bright, you know, like good, what's the word, descriptive words, like a bright striking light against a backdrop of a storm coming in off the lake, you know, you can grab people in with your words.
Right on. Well, there's a piece of information that I was not aware of. I felt like that alt tag had to be really short and concise. Well, that's interesting. Thank you, Nancy.
It needs to convey what you want to convey.
Yeah. So, as Jay had said, make it descriptive. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's time for us to wrap up now with a reminder that you can find some good resources for solopreneurs on my Being Your Own CEO community on Google+, as well as in my Supports for Solopreneurs collection. And for viewers out there, I really encourage you to take the time to get to know the participants in this hangout. They all do some wonderful things that you would find very useful and helpful in your solopreneur business. So please do get to know them. And one way is to, when you find their names in the on the event page, you can just hover over that and choose to circle them, and then go and find out more about them. So please do that. And thank you all who participated in the green room today, and for the information that you shared. It's much appreciated. So this is Lowell Ann signing off for this week.